I have this terrible recurring dream. I'm in the middle of the street, and there's a bloke I owe money to at each end. Oh, it's horrible.
Why watch High Noon on video when we can make our own amusements?
After you, Meredith.
No, after you, Clifford.
Who told him last time?
Well, you did, granted. But who brought you that fresh pineapple in hospital?
I'm not that fond of fruit, Meredith. Why do we tell him at all?
You mean just get on with it? I concur, Clifford. After all, he can only kill us once.
Exactly. Whereas if we give him forewarning, he'll do his level best to kill us twice.
I reckon this'll teach him a lesson we'll never forget.
My ears are burning. Either somebody's talking about me or my fag's still lit.
Evening, Mrs. Capp. And how's that man of yours treating you?
Life's a second honeymoon, Vicar.
You mean he's got you paying for his drinks again?
How can I begrudge my little lovebird? Coming home last night, his head was nestling on my shoulder.
We know, and Chalky was carrying his legs. See here, Mrs. Capp, it may be none of my business, but I'm concerned about your household's liquidity.
Do you mean Andy's boozing?
I mean your cash flow problem.
You mean Andy's boozing?
There's an ugly rumour going round that you are in deep trouble.
It'll have to keep, Vicar. There's so many ugly rumours stacked up. I've got a 3-week waiting list.
Tell Andy what people are saying.
I will, Vicar. He'll be indebted to you.
He won't, you know. It's him being indebted that got you in this mess in the first place.
Why, that kitchen table could tell a story, Clifford.
I know, Meredith. It'd be a travel book.
It's been in and out of that van more times than we've had fish suppers off ours.
Anything else, lads?
Just the sofa.
But we thought of bricking up the door and leaving it.
Come on. There's method in me madness. After one more kamikaze mission, I'm allowed to put in for a desk job. Gently does it. To you, from him. Easy as she goes. And whatever that sofa does, lads, don't have a go.
If it's no bother, mates, would you mind tipping me out at the Boilermaker's Arms?
You've got to hand it to him, Clifford. Cash he may be short of. He has got style.
I only hope they don't think to pick up the stuff he's left with me. The last time they did that, everyone thought I'd just had a clearance sale.
Is that you, daughter?
Yes, it is, but I can't stop. I have to wake him up for his tea. Are you all right, Mum?
I am, but you're not. The debt collectors have been round.
So that's what the vicar was on about. Oh, my reputation, my reputation.
They've taken your furniture.
Oh, my furniture, my furniture.
Including the sofa with your Andy asleep on it.
Oh, my sofa, my sofa.
You know, it's amazing what they'll deliver these days.
Well, easy come, easy go, Ruby. That's what I always say.
I know you do, Flo. At least a dozen times since we've been neighbours. Still, on the other hand, there have been the good times.
Oh, I know. Like 25 years ago before I met him.
But I didn't know things were as bad as this, love. What happened to your big bingo win?
I lost it.
Oh, dear. How did Andy take it?
In fivers, mainly.
I've asked one silly question. I may as well go for the double. But how are you going to manage?
Like we always do. Eat off the mantelpiece.
Here he comes. I wonder he dare show his face.
I wonder you dare look at it.
Owing money left, right and centre. Just how many people can that fella look in the eye?
Nobody's counted. But why do you think he wears his cap over his nose?
I shall ignore him. I'm sure I'll get no rent out of him today.
Don't be so defeatist, Mr. Potts. My boyfriend always says you should think positive.
He develops wedding photographs for the co-op.
He's right, Shirley. I will. I'm positive I'll get no rent out of him today. Another pint, Jack.
Oh, dearie me, Chalky.
Oh, dearie me, Andy.
Cool. Do you have to echo everything I say?
It's a sympathy vote, Andy.
Carried unanimously. Do you ever have that feeling of not belonging, Chalky?
You've tuned in to one of his maudlin moods. Every so often he persuades himself he's none in a million.
Not belonging. The furniture doesn't belong to me. The telly doesn't belong to me. The washing machine doesn't belong to me. My own home doesn't belong to me.
And that drink doesn't belong to you.
Hello there, Percy. Long time no see.
We'll skip the formalities if you don't mind. Call it a phobia, but whenever he shakes hands, I think he's trying to pump money out of Miss Satchel. Never mind long time no see. I thought we had an arrangement. You were going to be in on rent day.
I had to go to the doctor's.
You could have left a note. I was knocking for 10 minutes.
11? Who's counting?
He is.
Come on now, Percy, let's be constructive. I owe you a month's rent, right?
You do.
And 4 weeks from now, I'll owe you 2 months' rent.
You will?
But next month isn't here yet, is it?
I don't know why I don't just dig a hole in the ground and jump into it. Go on, I'll buy it.
I thought you'd never ask. Pint, please, Jack.
Never mind pints. We're talking about next month's rent.
I don't owe next month's rent.
I know you don't.
So if you deduct the month's rent I do owe from the month's rent I don't owe, we're straight.
It's called creative accounting. He were like this at school, wasn't he, Jack?
I remember. The careers teacher wanted him to take up juggling.
See me on Flo's next payday and I'll give you something on account.
On account of what? On account of that's all I've got left. I can say your lines for you, Mr. Capp.
You'll have your rent. Firm promise.
If I don't, there'll be fisticuffs. And that's a firm promise, too.
Blimey, Percy's getting brave. Did he have a rum in that pint?
Him and me's two of a kind, Chalky. We only make promises for the joy of breaking them.
Do you know what I wish with all my heart and soul, Flo?
That you'd married me, Percy. Don't let Andy hear you. He'll spifflicate you.
Not only that, Flo. I wish with all my heart and soul that you both lived in a caravan.
What on earth, though?
So that when he didn't pay his rent, I could have the flipping thing towed away like the rest of your goods and chattels.
Now then, darling.
Can I get you anything? Like arrested?
Don't get me wrong, Shirley. I'm a happily married man.
Correction. He's happy. I'm married. Come on, Romeo. You know where we're going.
Do you know what, Mr. White? They can say what they like about the Capps, but having a regular appointment with the Marriage Guidance Bureau, that's security.
You know the old saying, Mr. and Mrs. Capp, annual income £20, annual expenditure £19.19 and 6.
Result sixpence, so what?
You have to balance your budget.
Can't have a bad back.
What's that got to do with it?
To balance our budget, mate, we'd have to tilt the flipping house.
Come, Mr. Capp, it's perfectly simple. You must live within your means.
Do you hear that?
Yes, I must live within your means.
You mustn't spend more than you earn.
You taking this in?
I mustn't spend more than you earn.
You must cut down on those little luxuries.
Are you listening?
You must cut down on those little luxuries. But how can I be of help, Mr. Watson? I'm not an extravagant man. What can I cut down on?
How about boozing, betting, smoking and womanising? Then you'll have money to spare for the necessities of life.
He walks right into them, don't he? Go on, pet.
But boozing, betting, smoking and womanising are the necessities of life.
Boom, flipping boom. If you stop boozing, we could keep our heads above water.
If I had to stop boozing, I'd keep my head underwater.
Thanks, then. How much would we save if you gave up smoking?
Not as much as if you gave up breathing, woman.
Then there's your pigeons. They're an expensive hobby.
What about your bingo? That's an expensive hobby.
Don't you start on me, Andy Capp. When did you last buy me a new coat?
2 weeks ago.
I am not talking about the new coat of whitewash in the cellar.
I'd bang their heads together, but there's no procedure for it laid down in the guidelines. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Capp, I'm sure there's a solution.
There is, but I could get 25 years to life for it.
All it needs is a little give and take.
It's giving and taking that's got us where we are today, Mr. Watson. I give and he takes.
Pity the music halls have been killed off. She could have done the job for him.
Now, I believe in my couples reaching their own solutions. Mrs. Capp, consider. what is the nature of your problem?
I've lost all my furniture.
And how did that situation arise, Mr. Capp?
They came and took it away in a big van.
But why, Mr. Capp? Why?
I've asked myself the same question, Mr. Watson. Was it an unhappy childhood? Or perhaps they were jealous of other people's success? Who can say?
You got into debt, Mr. Capp. You got into debt. Now, what must we do when we get into debt?
Don't tell me.
I won't, because you know the answer as well as I do.
You're right, Mr. Watson. Borrow from me mother-in-law.
Same time next week, Mr. Watson.
No, we're closed for staff training.
Thanks ever so much, Mum. And remember, you're welcome to come round for supper any time.
That's right, missus. You'll always find 2 chairs at our table.
Did you have to say that? You're no shit slimming.
That's a lot. Signing it, please.
Is everything in its right place, Mrs. Capp?
Andy?
Come in, pet. Positions, men. Left a bit, back a bit, right hand down, Meredith. Forward a bit. That's it.
He's got to be able to see the telly and me fetching him his beer without swivelling his head.
Thanks very much, Clifford and Meredith. Did I give you lads a tip, by the way?
Yes, thanks. The second favourite in the 2:30 at Doncaster. Come on, Meredith.
Till the next time then, Mrs. Capp. Oh, by the way, if we did it at our own expense and made good any damage, would you mind if we built a goods ramp where your front steps are? Think about it.
Now then, pet. If my figures are right and you do as Mr. Watson says and drink within your means, we should just about manage.
Manage what?
To stay afloat until we hit the next flipping iceberg. Now, I'm serious about your drinking, Andy Capp.
So am I. Nobody more so.
We're having a real economy drive, so I don't want you coming home drunk tonight like you did last night.
I was not drunk.
Well, who was making all that racket then?
The fellas who carried me. They dropped me.
There you are, you see. You were paralytic.
Flo, there is one infallible test of whether a man is sober. Can he take off his own trousers standing up? Which I did.
Yes, in the street. Now look, pet, I don't want to spoil your enjoyment. Just drink less, smoke less, gamble less, go out less, and we'll be able to keep straight.
Not to mention be able to walk straight. All right, Flo, I'll give it a go.
Now, are you sure you can do it, Andy?
Of course I am, woman. I'm a man of iron.
Pig iron.
If I say I'll booze less I will. What about that day I stopped altogether?
With my help.
That's true. She wouldn't give me any money.
Well, in that case, pet, we'll be able to pay a little bit more off the rent arrears, get most of the hire purchase up to date, and just have enough left for the rental on the telly. Do you know what, pet? At last we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, what the thump's happened now?
They've just bricked up the tunnel for not paying its bill.
I think you're coping very well so far, Pet. I'm proud of you. And you're not overdoing it like that time you gave up smoking and you had to appear in court because of what you did to that man who come to mend the window because you'd kicked it in just because he asked you for a light. You're taking it nice and easy. You said you can do it, and you can. You've given up your daytime drinking altogether, and your evening drinking doesn't start till an hour after opening time. You've cut back on your smoking, and you haven't had a bet all day. As for myself, Pet, I won't say I'm not missing bingo, because I am. But if you're pulling your weight, the least I can do is to pull mine.
And very noble it is too, Pet, because you've got twice as much weight to pull.
If you were a gentleman, you'd walk on the other side.
Sorry, Flo, I wasn't thinking.
Very strange.
Very strange.
But if he's not in hospital, where can he be?
Crikey! Don't say it's Mother's Day already, and I completely forgot to send Flo's mum a cauliflower.
Mother's Day, my Aunt Fanny, we thought you were in hospital.
Why, that clever dick who beat me at snooker hardly touched me.
Well, you see, Grandad, when he didn't materialise at lunchtime, we all naturally assumed you must have fallen down a manhole on your way home last night.
I did. I often do. Doesn't keep me out the pub next morning.
Something did.
Willpower. I'm economising. By the way, Tosh, what won the big race at Kempton Park today?
The favourite.
Marvellous. That's another £2 I've saved. Get him in, Chalky.
At this rate, he'll soon have enough to buy a bungalow.
So you've decided to follow Mr. Watson's advice at last and cut your coat according to your cloth, have you?
Cut his cap, more like.
What, if it's not a rude question, will you be doing with the money you save?
Paying off your arrears, Percy. Every penny. Brandy, somebody, quick! Oh, it always gives me a nasty turn when Percy goes like that.
How's the great economy drive going then, Flo? Couldn't be better, Ruby. He's not been out one dinner time all week. And he switched his brand of cigarettes, so that's a big saving there.
What's he smoking now, then?
OPs.
Other people's. And we've not seen either hair of you, bingo. What do you do with your time?
Gloat. But it's tonight I'm looking forward to, Ruby. Andy's promised to come home early from the pub with a bottle of milk stout, and we're going to sit down and pool everything he's saved and everything I've saved and work out on a piece of paper just how much better off we are. Oh, I can't wait.
You can see what's coming, can't you?
Quiet for a Friday, Jack?
Isn't it just? You could even hear a cash register ping, if anybody bought a drink.
Is Jack having a go at Andy?
Well, how can I stay in business with blokes like you making one drink last all evening?
You should attract more trade, mate. I can't scrounge drinks off people if there's nobody here to scrounge off, can I? That's the trouble these days. Ineffective management. Where is everybody, anyway?
I'm surprised nobody's told you, Mr. Capp. There's a new landlord at the Cross-Eyed Whippet. It's drinks on the house all night.
You're bad for life, Percy.
Hmm?
Where's the rest of him?
That's all we could find, Flo. Good night.
Go on, then. Ask me where all the money I've saved's gone.
Oh, Andy, you've never spent it.
Not a penny.
Where is it, then?
In me wallet.
Where's your wallet?
In me trousers.
Where's your trousers?
In the canal.
Come on through, pet. Have a confession to make. That's my last will and testament. There's my burial policy. And these are instructions on how to put the kettle on and make your own tea.
What's all this about?
The truth is, pet, when you didn't come home from the pub this evening, I was so sure you'd fallen by the wayside that I went out to bingo and lost every penny.
What did I tell you?
So, we're back to square -1, pet. And it's the end of the month. What are we going to do about all the bills coming in?
I'll think of something.
Settlement of this overdue account would oblige. How is it that a bloke who never touches the stuff owes more for his milk than the whole street put together? Morning, Postie. Allow me the pleasure.
Final demand. Final demand. Final demand.
Any more bright ideas?
Looks like the Capp's red letter day.
I think I've cracked it, Flo.
Go on, let's have it, genius. And if he wants to pawn my wedding ring again, I'll crack him.
There's nothing else for it, pet. You'll have to get a job.
I've already got a job.
I mean another job.
Do you mean instead of or as well as?
I don't know why she bothers to ask.
Lots of people have 2 jobs, Flo. It's called moonlighting.
And what will you be doing while I'm moonlighting? Stargazing? Who's going to do me housework? There's already too much for one pair of hands in this house.
Well, what do you want me to do about it? Become a bigamist?
It's lucky for him the doctor's put me on these pills. They're ever so good. They make you tread only one day at a time.
Now, let's have a look. Here we are. Situation's vacant. Model. That's out. Audio typist. That's out. Girl Friday. That's out. Manicurist. That's out.
Hello!
We want to see Mr. Capp.
Who is it?
Blokes who want to see Mr. Capp.
Come in!
And receptionists definitely out. Will you stop snivelling, woman? I'm trying to do me pools.
I can't bear to think of it, Auntie. After all the effort we put in, all my lovely furniture being carted off again in that van.
If you don't wrap up, I'll have you carted away with it.
You wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't I?
Not you. It'd make me walk. Andy, will you take your head out of that football coupon for 1 minute? Don't you realise they're coming for the furniture at 4 o'clock sharp?
Can't be helped.
But you've demanded your tea for 5 o'clock sharp.
And see that I get it.
But what will you eat it off? And don't say plates.
Just leave it to Andy, pet.
That's them now.
Not to fret. 5 o'clock tea I have called for, and 5 o'clock tea I shall have. Put the kettle on.
My old man said follow the van and don't dilly-dally on the way.
I won't pour it into your saucer, Pet. Just hold it till we go over that humpback bridge. Will you be going out tonight, Pet?
I'm meeting Chalky for one. That's if you can lend me a fiver.
But I lent you a fiver only this morning.
There you go, woman. Always living in the past.